Okay, so your naughty dog won't come back. Hello, YouTube. We're talking fixing a broken recall, Tom. My recall's broken. My recall's really broken. I can't get her, and I can't get her, careful, I can't get her back. Like,
it's a really common struggle, and it's a struggle that you will all face at times. Even if your dog's recall is great right now, you might find that it's in a bit of a state of flux at times, and that might be around adolescence. That might be as you start to give your dog even more freedom and you open up their day and their world even more.
And look how happy she looks about it. Like, look how happy she is about the fact that I can't capture her. And I'm like,
we thought it might be useful to talk about when we encounter this, when we see this, when we notice that we're heading in that direction, or we just get a bit of a sense that it might be on the horizon. What do we do? How do we troubleshoot that? What things do we immediately implement and we say, this is happening right now?
She's playing games with me. I mean, look at her. She is playing games.
The wrong kind of games.
These are the sorts of things that people will say. They'll be like, she's having me on. She's absolutely having me on. Do you see her? And look how happy she looks. She's having me on. And she looks so happy about it. Like, she really is. Like, she is taking the mick.
We know this well because we've been there, but I had a behaviour consult.
Like,
I had a behaviour consult the other day, and the lovely honers were just in a really bad place, and they just reeled off all these kind of labels that they'd been putting on their dogs. You know, he's stubborn, he's just in it for himself.
In it for herself. Look at her.
He's a bully with other dogs.
Nasty.
And it got to the point where I had to be like, and what would you say is a strength of his? What do you like about him? And they could reel off a list that way as well. But I think sometimes we get into a bit of a state of living this story of our dogs are out to get us, our dogs are stubborn, our dogs are difficult. We can't change this.
She's a problem. Like, look at her. She's a problem. You might have had this same thing where the dog doesn't run away, but actually they don't come back either. And you might be trying to capture them, and I'm trying to capture her, but she doesn't want to be captured, right? Like, you can see and she looks like she's having a whale of a time, but every time I try and get her, she goes that little bit further, and I try and get her, and she goes a little bit further. So does it grind your gears? I think that's the word.
Now,
and it is annoying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what can we do about it? How can we, move this forward? What would we be immediately thinking when we start to spot this? And the first thing is actually saying, right, what experiences can we grow with our dogs that we can use to reward them and grow what we want? So what we'll do is we'll actually say, you know what, their daily food allowance is going to be spent on amazing experiences that we can develop. Maybe the food allowance gets caught. Maybe we play catch. Maybe they chase it.
This is my new Gucci handbag, but actually it's not. It's actually full of treats.
It's a new line.
It's a new line. Anyway, I'm playing with Eliza's treat bag. This is my daughter's treat bag, but I've popped it on and I'm going to do a couple of those things. So I think let's just run through a couple. So first off, I'm going to do some catching. So I'm not going to try and capture her. I'm actually just going to see, she says she must have dropped something. I'm actually just going to see, can we catch? So actually, can we catch? Because although catching, she is further away from me, I've got her attention. Does that make sense, everybody? I've got her attention, and she's now slightly more on board with me. Can everyone see that? So she's on board. Now, if your dog doesn't like food or doesn't want to catch, that's possibly because you want to put your dog on a ditch the routine, ditch the food bowl program. So Easy is on a ditch the routine, ditch the food bowl program. And on a serious note, actually, if we do want to catch her, we've got lots of different things we're going to talk to you about now. But this was a big struggle of hers, and it was a real struggle of hers. So catching number one.
Absolutely. So maybe we might think about, making it even more exciting for fast-paced border collie. Maybe we're going to get her chasing bits of food, and that might be chasing them from side to side by rolling them. It might be chasing them in our hand even. What we're looking for is that we've got some tools that our dogs find enjoyable. And you might, we're growing these outside mainly because we're teaching you outside, but the reality is this might have to start in your living room. It might start in your kitchen, so that you've got almost a currency to exchange with your dog so that you can start to put the value where you want to put it.
Now, another game that I really like with her is actually getting her onto the food and then turning herself really quickly. Yeah. This is one of the games we play in our training academy. For those of you part of training academy, you'll love it, you'll know it. But actually for Easy, this has been a very good game. So she's on the food and I can spin her around, spin her back, and I can keep her nice and close. So she's almost glued to my leg. So actually I can have her here and I can put the rewards, good girl, I can put the rewards wherever I need them. And for me, with a dog like Easy, aka difficult, should be close to me. So I am looking for more proximity to me, and that's really, really helped.
Now the next, I guess, thing that we'll start to put value in, and strategy that we'll start to put value in, is a middle game.
And middle for her, good girl, is something that we reward lots and lots and lots of just holding out permission to be there, really, or position rather to be there. And actually the big thing I noticed with Easy, because Easy really did have a very broken recall as a young dog, get it, was actually making that middle good from anywhere. So actually the middle was something she was good at, get it, and she would always come back into middle. Now one thing I did, and you'll notice it, I'm very good at one-sided middle. So if you ever do it, again, I mean, Easy can kind of do that side, but I'm not so good at it. So try really hard to do it both sides, because I think that does make a difference. So ideally both side middle, but we also do middle and we combine games. As you're seeing now, you're seeing middle and catch both put together. So you've got these, again, all part of the training academy if you guys want to dive a little bit deeper. And actually for me, something like this was really the making of Easy, because I'd let her into a field like this and she would go to the other end at breakneck speed with no thought at all, sorry, he stood on you, no thought at all about where I was. So she had no care about where I was. And so for me, this gave, I suppose, an area, a boundary, a target for her to think this is a very cool space.
Now the cool thing is we've created a video for you of how you can teach your dog to play middle and do middle from kind of 0 to hero, and a link is below this video in the kind of information section. So you can hit that link, you can play the steps, and you will get this picture. Now the next tip that we've got for you is actually thinking about, often dogs don't want to come close and don't want to recall close because they don't like the finishing bit, right? They don't like you taking hold of their collar or their harness and then being put back on lead. And so what we do is we create that as an amazing experience, right? We create that touching the collar as something that actually excites our dogs and they see as a great deal. Now, how do we do that?
So for Easy, I actually decided the best thing to do was to do that in feeding and then holding the collar. So with her, I always feed and then hold the collar at first when I'm working on that game. And later on, I will change that potentially. But for her, I do quite like it this way because she's a dog who's always trying to catch you out. She's a very fast-paced, quick dog. The other way I might sometimes do it is actually scattering. So scattering and then taking a collar. Now notice when I take a collar, I don't go, got ya, yeah, woo, I win. It's not like a sort of competition. You want to be very, very subtle with this, and so many people are not subtle with this. So I take the collar, I feed like that, and then when she's finished, I might clip her on lead, or I might just ask her to come with me. It's such a big, and often I let go of her.
Exactly,
as well.
a really important bit of this is actually taking the collar, letting go, so that it doesn't always mean that, oh God, they're trying to capture me to put me back on lead and the walk's going to end and the fun's going to end. Actually, maybe I touch it and that's not a predictor of the walk and the fun ending.
I think the problem with this is so many people only remember to do this. It's a bit like, you know what? It's a bit like fitness. You remember you need to be fit like the week before the event. So I've got some big competitions. I might remember the week before the event. Or say, I don't know, you're going to a wedding, or maybe you're getting married. Actually, you remember just the week before. It's something that really is a long-term overall continue to push. So you want to keep doing this. So for me, I might be dropping those there, feeding the collar grab, and then letting her go again. I might be feeding again, dropping that one in, letting her go again. So there's a lot more in the bank of just letting go again, way more letting go again than actually popping on lead and finishing. And so see it almost as a bridge to when you want to finish, but when you actually want to finish, again, don't make a big deal of it. It's the same deal, feeding, collar and then on lead, but try not to make it at a difficult space for your dog. So for me, a difficult space to do that, if we maybe just turn and face the gate over there, so if we just look at the gate, that would be a difficult space to do that, because that signifies home time. So that signifies we are leaving. And we can do that, but I just don't want to boil that pressure pot just yet. Here would be better.
The reality is that when you notice that your dog's doing this, and you see your dog doing this, well, when you've got, I don't know, 10 minutes while you're watching TV and your dog's got some of their daily food allowance left, you're going to put that daily food allowance into growing experiences, whether it be catch or chase or whatever it might be. We're then going to put that experience and that value into middle, so that we're getting proximity.
And like we said, you can combine these games. So you could be doing middle catch, or you could be doing middle collar. So you can be doing combinations of games, just like we do in the training academy. So get it, ready, go. And you can actually start to integrate all of these games together to have a really good, experience with your dog. Equally, even something as simple as a little bit of scatter feeding close, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Like actually saying close is a nice place to be.
Absolutely, and the key here, guys, is that if you notice this happening, don't get into that day-to-day firefighting and conflict with your dog. Think, actually, I've got the strategies, I've just watched this YouTube video, I've got 10 minutes while the TV's on, maybe I'm going to put that into some value for my dog, thinking that the collar being held is a great deal, and we start to see things change. You can play it in your living room, you can play it in your garden, you can play it in your kitchen, you can play it on walks. The key is play it everywhere.
And play it. Get playing it, right? Get playing it. Don't ignore it, get playing it.
Remember, game changers, whatever the dog owning struggle, there's a game for that.
If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel.
And check out our new 25-day online dog training challenge. Watch the videos, play the games, transform your dog owning struggles.
As a loyal YouTube subscriber, you can get a 70% discount through the link in the description below.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to the #1 most transformational dog training podcast on iTunes and Spotify, the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast.
And remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more live teaching, video content and free training using the links in the description.